Good day, everyone. I am John Edward C. Caldeo, and as the reporter of the day, I am going to discuss the divinities of Greek mythology. As we all know, divinities is defined as a divine being, a god or goddess. Myths are stories created to teach people about something important and meaningful. They were often used to teach people about events that they could not always understand, such as illness and death, or earthquakes and floods. The Greeks believed in gods and goddesses, who they thought had control over every part of people's lives. The ancient Greeks believed that they had to pray to the gods for help and protection, because if the gods were unhappy with someone, then they would punish them. They made special places in their homes and temples where they could pray to statues of the gods and leave presents for them. The Greeks had a different god for almost everything. They imagined that the gods lived together as a family up on the top of Mount Olympus. They did not see them as perfect, but just like people. In the Greek myths, the gods argue, fall in love, get jealous of each other, and make mistakes. And now, let me introduce to you the 12 major divinities of Greek mythology. Aphrodite was the goddess of love, sex, and beauty. Unsurprisingly for a love goddess, she was said to have emerged from the foam generated when the severed testicles of her father Uranus were thrown into the sea by his son the Titan Cronus. Athena was the goddess of reason, wisdom, and war. She famously sprang fully formed from the forehead of Zeus, a major figure in the Odyssey in which she instructed Odysseus. She also guided Perseus and Heracles through their trials. The Parthenon was her chief temple in Athens, which is named in her honor. Her Roman equivalent was Minerva. Artemis was the fleet-footed goddess of the hunt, often depicted in painting and sculpture with a deer or a hunting dog. She was both huntress and protectress of the living world. Her Roman equivalent was Diana. Ares was the god of bloodlust. His half-sister Athena represented the more noble aspects of combat and civil conduct during war. Though his fellow deities weren't particularly fond of him, the Spartans had no problems. They were donating some prisoners of war to his worship and sacrificing dogs. Yes, Ares liked dead puppies. His Roman equivalent was Mars. The twin brother of Artemis, Apollo, was among the most important feared of the gods. Son of Zeus, he disseminated the will of his divine compatriots through various means, notably oracles. The oracle at Delphi was his mouthpiece. Demeter, an agricultural goddess, was mother to Persephone, who was abducted by the underworld god Hades to be his bride. While searching for her stolen daughter, she accepted the hospitality of the royal family of Eleusis. The Eleusinian Mysteries, perhaps the most important religious rites in ancient Greece, are attributed to her teachings. Her Roman equivalent was Ceres. Dionysus was a son of Zeus born to a mortal mother. When Zeus accidentally killed her, he sewed the young Dionysus into his thigh, and when the young god emerged, passed him to the care of the Maenads. The cult of Dionysus revolved around intoxication, sex, and savage ritual sacrifice. He was often symbolized by a bull due to his association with the sacrificial animal. Elements of his character are seen in the Roman god of wine, Bacchus. Hades ruled the world of the dead, with which he was sometimes synonymous. The chilly lord of the underworld was among the few Greek gods to come across as dispassionate. He was not the ultimate judge of the souls that wandered his domain, nor did he mete out their punishments for sins committed during their mortal lives. He was, however, cunning. He tricked Persephone into eating enchanted pomegranate seeds so that she would have to remain with him for a portion of the year. The queen goddess of Olympus, Hera, was both sister and wife to Zeus. Though she is often depicted as reserved and austere, she was mercilessly vindictive when it came to her husband's extramarital adventures. Unfortunately for the objects of Zeus' godly affections, Hera tended to torment the other women and their offspring, including Heracles, rather than Zeus himself. Her Roman equivalent was Juno. Like many gods in the Greek pantheon, Hermes presided over multiple spheres. He was a pastoral figure responsible for protecting livestock and was also associated with fertility, music, luck, and deception. In the Odyssey, he is depicted as a messenger god. His Roman equivalent was Mercury. Poseidon was best known as the Greek sea god, but he was also the god of horses and of earthquakes. Thus many of his temples were inland, and he had some seriously strange children. Though humanoid, he fathered both the winged horse Pegasus and the cyclope Polyphemus, who is blinded by Odysseus and his crew in the Odyssey. His Roman equivalent was Neptune. With the assistance of Hades and Poseidon, Zeus overthrew his father, Cronus, king of the Titans, and became the chief deity in a new pantheon comprising mostly his siblings and children. In addition to controlling the weather, Zeus was noted for his chronic infidelity to his sister wife Hera. Among the results of his weakness for comely mortal women was Helen of Troy. His Roman equivalent was Jupiter. Mythology was very salient to the Greeks, for it explained natural phenomena that they couldn't explain. Such things include the weather, the creation of the earth, night and day, and the seasons. It also gave them something to believe in to get them through bad times in their life, as well as give them a sense of security. Without Greek mythology, they would have a whole different life, and we might find our world today being a lot different as well. The gods and goddesses of myth, legend, and fairy tale represents archetypes, real potencies, and potentialities deep within the psyche, which when allowed to flower permit us to be more fully human. A quote from an American author, Margot Adler. Thanks for watching. Keep safe and God bless.